ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Joffrey's now offers coffee subscriptions. You can order a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription. You can choose from 3 collections: the Flavored Coffee Collection, the Roastmasters Collection, or the Disney Signature Coffee Collection. Each collection includes 3 bags per month. With the Joffrey's Coffee subscriptions, never run out of great coffee again. Learn more and order at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The body of water that you see to the right of our forward motion is the Seven Seas Lagoon. The Seven Seas Lagoon is a man-made creation that took 3 years and the removal of millions of cubic yards of earth to complete.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. Very excited for today's show. Joining us on the show, a special guest. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him, especially on the DVC Roundtable show. It's Mr. Brad Coates.
Well, greetings, everybody. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Big news on the West Coast about to happen. I thought this might be something fun for us to talk about.
Yeah, I've actually got a couple of friends that have already been inside the Disneyland park.
Oh, they have to be excited. They had to have had a great time.
Yeah, had a great time. And I'm very excited. Well, I'm not going to tell. I'll tell you off the air what else I heard.
Okay.
Which makes the possibility of me being able to see Disneyland very soon. I'm very excited. I'm going out just to make a trip out, probably. So,
all right. Well, funny, talking about a trip to Disneyland, I thought that'd be a good topic for today's show. Because a lot of people have been to Disney World many, many times. They're a Disney World expert. They're happy to share their knowledge. But a lot of people, they're thinking, hey, Disneyland's opening back up. I think I'm ready to go. But I don't know the differences. So I thought it would be fun to talk about, what does a Walt Disney World expert, well-versed travel person that's been to Walt Disney World many times need to know about making the switch out to Disneyland for their first trip?
Yeah, and I'm one of those rare breeds that started out Disneyland.
Yes.
That's where we went every year and for years, because we're kind of right in the middle. We're a little closer to them. We can drive there. We can't really drive to Florida. So, but and then we've done a lot of Disney World now. But yeah, so I have a great love for Disneyland, and so I think there's some very unique things about it that make it very special. I think everybody that, even if you're a total sold out Walt Disney fan, you need to make at least one trip out to the original park.
That sounds great to me. And I know you said at the top of your list, it was at the top of my list too. Brad, what are the differences about getting to Disneyland?
So yeah, with arriving to Disneyland, of course, if you drive, you drive. That's pretty simple. Orlando traffic's bad. Anaheim traffic's bad. So that part of it it's just the reality. Although, depending upon where you're coming from, if you got to go through LA traffic, then you're at a whole other breed. But arriving by airport, then one of the things that's kind of nice about Disneyland, and most people aren't aware of, is that there's actually there's multiple airports, but 2 main airports that you can arrive to get to Disneyland through. Of course, LAX. That's the one everybody thinks, well, LAX, that's where I need to fly into.
Right.
It gives you the most flights. It gives you the most options for sure. But if you have flights coming from where you're at and have good rates to John Wayne Airport, which is in Orange, California, and that one is actually about half the distance from LAX to the parks, and you do not have to endure the LA key traffic, because LAX to Disneyland, you go through what's rated as one of the worst interstate sections in the country. Oh. So when you have to travel down, I think it's 405, and come there, if you hit rush hour, dude, when I lived out there, I lived there for 7 years, and everything was planned by, okay, what time of day are we going grocery shopping?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's bad. So if you can fly into John Wayne, it's much closer. It's simpler. And getting in and out of the airport is way easier, because LAX is a nightmare to get in and out of. So if you can do John Wayne, do John Wayne. We like him. But you can arrive either airport. And then when it comes to transportation, it used to be a lot different, but it's about to become about the same, because they do not have Magical Express at Disneyland.
Oh, okay, right.
Only at Disney World. So when you arrive at the airport at Disney, you need to have arranged transportation from the airport to Disneyland. They used to have a shuttle, Disneyland shuttle, but you paid for it, which is what I'm sure we're about to get at Disney World. But I heard that that particular company discontinued. So I don't know what Disney's doing now, but it is close enough, fringe close to do. I've done Uber multiple times from LAX, but it's very doable from John Wayne, because I think, if I remember right, it's about a 15 to 20 minute drive from John Wayne to Disneyland.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. So, but you do need to be aware of that. There's no free shuttle. But there's plenty of shuttle services, buses, vans, and companies that you can rent with. But get you a good travel agent, and they'll get all that lined out for you.
No shortage of options there. What do you happen to know? What airlines fly into John Wayne?
The only one I ever met, I think American for sure. I say Southwest for sure, and I believe American does. And it seemed like there was 2 or 3 others. It's not a tiny airport. But it's not LAX.
Gotcha.
And Southwest had quite a few flights, and many times cheaper than flying into LAX. It just varies. I always check both. Sometimes if it's enough of a loss or I can't arrive the time I want, then I'll fly into LAX. But if I can ever do it in John Wayne, I do that. But Southwest, American, and outside of that, I don't know for sure.
I like the idea of John Wayne because I like to go the simple way, and I like to go the way of least stress when possible.
Yes, and by far way less stress that way. So, yep.
I don't get there all frazzled for my first Disneyland trip.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, so we're at Disneyland. What can you tell us, resort-wise?
So that's another thing, that the big difference with Disneyland, it's a much smaller footprint. It only has 2 parks, not the 4 parks plus water parks. And with a smaller footprint, it has 3 official Disneyland resort hotels. You have the Grand of all, Grand Californian. If you've been to Wilderness Resort Lodge, think Wilderness Resort, but upscaled a little.
Okay.
It's very rugged, it's very, very woodsy, very Californian, redwoods up north, but also very high end. It's the restaurants the Napa Rose has the same chef that does Club 33 is the head chef for Napa Rose there. And a lot of people love Napa Rose even better than Club 33. So it's a very good restaurant. So very nice. And it has something no other park has, at least until next year when the new Star Wars hotel. I'm sure you as a travel agent saw the email that came out. So they're opening on May the 4th next year. But Grand Californian is built directly beside California Adventure, and it has a private entrance from the hotel directly into California Adventure.
I have heard of that. That sounds fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing. You say during the day you go over to Grizzly River Run, which is their version of what's the splash ride in Animal Kingdom?
The Cali River?
Cali River Rapids. Yeah, it's a much bigger ride than that one, but it's that ride. Go in there, get soaking wet, walk off, and it's 100 yards, walk through the gate, you're in your hotel, get changed, come back.
Oh.
It's just, yeah. So that's very nice. Now it's by far the most expensive hotel.
Well, you pay for that.
Their hotel, and they're very proud of it, when you see the price. But amazing. And then the next one is, of course, the famous Disneyland Hotel. That is actually probably my favorite hotel. I love the Grand Californian. It's hard to pull off if I can't use my DVC points there, which I usually can't. I've spent a lot more time at the Disneyland Hotel. Very, this is a lot of everything around there reminds you it's just about Walt.
Okay.
Walk in the lobby and Goofy's sitting there in one of the couches by the check-in, hanging out with people. And then all of a sudden you turn around there and Donald comes in. It's very relaxed and a lot of characters just hanging out and nothing like a structured, come over here and line up and get a picture. It's just like they're hanging out at the hotel. If you've ever been to Aulani, it's like that. They're just kind of walking around like they're on vacation. And that one has some great restaurants. It's like 3 large towers. They're getting ready to add a 4th DVC tower there. A very nice pool there. That is shaped like the monorail, and it's pretty cool. The slides and that one, and then the third so that's kind of the middle of the road, and then their bargain basement resort, which I think you probably would try to qualify it as a moderate, is a Paradise Pier.
I've heard of that. That didn't initially start out as a Disney resort, did it?
Exactly. It was basically a Hilton or whatever it was, and then Disney bought it, and they retrofitted, and they put in the touches that makes it look like Disney, but you can feel that it's a commercial hotel.
Right.
So a lot of people dog Paradise Pier. Listen, to me, the hotel's not that bad. It's okay. What I don't like about Paradise Pier is its location.
Mm.
So the thing with Disneyland compared to Disney World is the parks are together. So you don't get bus transport going over to the parks because you don't need it. You just walk to the parks. And then once you're in the parks, you don't need to go anywhere. So, Paradise Pier is a hefty walk. You literally have to walk down the street, cross a busy street, then go into the right now. You can go past the Grand California and then come in the exit on the other side. So it's definitely a bit farther. In fact, when we get past these three resorts, the thing about Disneyland compared to Disney World, a lot of people that are Disney World fans, they're not even aware that there's Good Neighbor hotels.
Okay.
You say that to them and they're, what's that? I thought we were all neighborly. And it's like, no, that's not what we're talking about. These are non-Disney hotels that have contracts with Disney, and you can book them through Disney in packages. They have better prices, and they're usually a little farther out, have a little bit less. You're not quite in the bubble like you are with the Disney resorts. And that's the same way at Disneyland, except for here's the thing. There are multiple Good Neighbor hotels that are closer to the parks than Disneyland Hotel or Paradise Pier.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're literally the only thing that's closest is Grand California, and that's because it's connected. So, but yeah, there's a Best Western Park Place is, I think, the one. It's you walk out of the gates where the security is. You walk about 200 yards maybe to the main street, which is Harbor Boulevard. You wait for the crosswalk. You walk across the walk, and you walk right into your hotel. It's just right there. And there's like 6 to 8 of them right there, all very, very, very close. Now, here's one thing I will tell folks, though. So Good Neighbor hotels are a great option at Disneyland because there's a huge gap, even from Paradise Pier prices to Best Western and Del Sol and these hotels that are right across the street. There's a big price difference. And they're nice hotels. If you're not really feeling like you got to have that whole Disney thing in your hotel, most of those hotels have Disney features, and they have stores, Disney stores in them. They have where they sell a lot of things. You can buy your tickets and thing there. So in fact, many of those hotels actually have a cast member in the lobby that works for Disney that's telling you about Disney. So, but they can save you a lot of money with a lot of those hotels. And so, but be careful. This is where I really encourage people to do your research or use a travel agent that is familiar with Disneyland, because if you're not careful, a lot of hotels, and even on Disney's site, when you go to book it, it'll make it sound like it'll say, like one hotel says Disneyland front entrance. Well, I don't know what they consider to be a front entrance, but that 2-mile walk to the front entrance wasn't what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's some of them that talk like they're right there, but they're not. They're close, but to get to the gate, there's some hotels that are on the other side, like on the south side, you can see the rides. You can throw a rock and hit somebody on the ride, but you got to walk all the way around the side to get to the gates to get in. Gotcha. It's still a walk. So, that's some of it you got to be aware of. But with that, though, with the Good Neighbor hotels, there's lots and lots of options. Hotel chains, inexpensive hotels, lots of options. So
you can almost
one nice
use
thing with the hotels there. Not as many themed hotels like Disney World, but some great other options.
Could we equate the Good Neighbor hotels as maybe like value resorts to Disney World? Similar?
I'd say value and value plus.
Okay.
And honestly, some of them are moderate. I mean, there's a Hilton there.
Oh,
There's a Hyatt, Hyatt Park Place, those kind. So those are nice hotels, and the ones that are there, they're nice. The only tricky part with it is that some of those hotels, like I said, you're going to walk to and from the park. There's actually another thing I forgot. I didn't write that down, but there is a transit system in Anaheim, that will appear on the Disney site when you go to book, and your travel agent can work that out with you, where you purchase a week ticket, and it'll give you on and off privileges to ride that transit, and it goes from all these hotels that are farther out, and it stops at. They all have a stop at Disneyland, but trick with that is they'll have, it maybe have 2 or 3 stops, 4 stops before it gets there, but it's not a bad way to go.
Okay.
I prefer to do that myself rather than rent a car and then have to pay for parking every day. And, if I'm out a little bit farther, there's actually, I don't know if you've ever heard of Great Wolf Lodge.
Yes, we have one here in Ohio.
Yeah, they just built one a couple of years ago, just down Harbor Boulevard from Disneyland. And so one time we stayed there, and then we caught the transit up every day to go to Disneyland when we did our Disney Park days. So, yeah, so there's some options there, but they're all, pay to ride.
Right. What Good Neighbor Hotel would you recommend maybe be the closest walk to the front gates?
The one I mentioned, Park Place, Del Sol is the name of the other one. There's another Best Western, but I'm blocking on what the name of it is. But if you look them up on the Good Neighbor Hotels, those are right there across the street. There's a Castle Inn Suites, I believe it is. That's very close. Not directly across the street, but it's not even probably maybe a half a mile. Not too bad. And so those are the 3 that are off the top of my head that I've stayed at multiple times.
Awesome. So if I'm a Disney World fan, and I normally don't mind paying a little bit more for the accommodations, for the Disney resort feel, which one would you recommend for my first trip to Disneyland to stay in?
Like I said, Grand California is fantastic. If you can afford it, Grand Californian, that will make that a trip that you'll feel very, very spoiled. You'll almost feel like concierge. Okay. And they do have concierge rooms there. So, but for the first time, I might say skip on the convenience part and the opulence of Grand Californian. Stay Disneyland Hotel, because if you're a Disney fan, that hotel, every part of it feels like Disney. It's just big, huge pictures of Walt and him in construction zone areas, and the original map of Disneyland giant on the wall. And like I said, you just walk around and characters everywhere. And if you want the Disney feel, Disneyland Hotel is the way to go. And it's got some conveniences. It used to be, before they moved Disneyland Hotel, they actually rebuilt it with these towers. It used to have the monorail that came to the hotel. It doesn't go directly to the hotel anymore, but you walk right out of the hotel and you walk about not even 100 yards, and there's a monorail station. Oh. You can get on the monorail and then go in and get off back in Tomorrowland, inside of Disneyland.
Oh, see, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
I know I've looked at what accommodations I would stay at, and I kind of came to if I was going to go, I'd stay at the Disneyland Hotel the first time, just like you recommended. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's definitely the best. It's got Trader Sam's there. It's just got so much about Disney you just love. And so, yeah, that's the Disney hotel you're going to want there.
It's the OG Disney hotel.
That's right.
All right, Brad, my next favorite topic. I need to eat.
I was going to say food.
How is the dining different than at Disney World?
Most people, getting somebody's opinion on it. This is America. Everybody's entitled to be wrong. I don't know if you got that memo, but so everybody has opinions, and so mine's not right or wrong because I like what I like. But most people I talk to that have done both, and most people you'll talk to, will usually say the quick service is better at Disneyland than at Disney World. It just feels like they work harder at some of those things. They've got some great high-end dining, but not as much inside of the parks.
Okay.
Inside of California Adventure, you want high-end signature dining, then Carthay Circle is a fantastic. That's where they built the extension for Club 33 with a special bar that you can only get into there, the inside of Carthay Circle. And it's definitely high-end quality food, things like that. But a lot of great quick service inside the parks. But here's one of the things that makes it very advantageous. Unlike Disney World, that's so spread out, one of the hugest advantages to Disneyland is it's extremely compact. When you walk out of California, you can be in California Adventure and then have a reservation inside of Disneyland. As long as you have a park hopper ticket, it's literally maybe a 150-yard walk.
Wow. Yeah.
You walk out of one gate, and by the time you got 4 sips out of your soda, you're walking into the other gate of the other park, and you're already past security, so you're just in the bubble.
Oh.
And now they've expanded that bubble to make it even better, because then right next, so on, let's say on the north side, it's Disneyland, south side, it is California Adventure. Well, the same distance to the west, you walk right into downtown Disney.
Fantastic.
So it's all there. So there's a bunch of great restaurants inside of downtown Disney. So literally, if you want to have lunch inside downtown Disney, you walk outside out of the park. Within 5 minutes, you're in downtown Disney. You go in, and all of that now is one security bubble. So once you get in from the hotels inside of, and to get to the parks, you have to walk through downtown Disney from Disneyland Hotel, and same way with Paradise Pier, and then the exit from Grand Californian that gets you over to Disneyland Park that doesn't have it has a direct entrance to California Adventure, but it's all through downtown Disney. So they put all the security on the outside of downtown Disney in the parks. And so once you get inside the bubble, you can go in and out of all three, never have to deal with any security, no more checks, no more temp checks, no more, you're in the bubble.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that makes it very nice. To park hop at Disneyland, you don't even call it park hopping. It's just one park with a big giant lobby in the middle. So, yeah. So some great options for dining. Things like the Blue Bayou, that one gets talked up a lot because it's built into the ride of Pirates of the Caribbean. So in the swamp scene, when you're going through the swamp scene in the beginning, and that's actually when you're sitting inside of Blue Bayou, and there's one back right by Splash Mountain, the Hungry Bear area, and so lots of really good dining inside of there. Either way you go, and of course the best churros on the planet. So
I've heard about the churros; they're legendary. Legendary.
You would think, how could you make a churro so different? But I gotta tell you, I think if you hand me a Disney World churro and a Disneyland churro, I'm going to be able to tell the difference.
Right.
They're just, it's California oil.
There you go. California water.
But yeah, their churros are famous. Kind of, it's their, they have, not Orange Julius, the pineapple drink.
The Dole Whip?
I know. I get in trouble. Everybody goes, you not call yourself a Disney fan. You forget Dole Whip. I'm just not a pineapple guy.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Makes my mouth break out in sores.
Ooh.
Well, what is about pineapple? It's just like, give me
it's
the orange one.
A lot of citric acid in there.
Yeah. But it's kind of like they have Dole Whips at Disneyland, but the churro, like the Dole Whip is like you got to have at Disney World. Churro is what you got to have at Disneyland. So
it's on my list.
Yeah. And of course, if you ever get lucky enough to meet the right person and you get to go to Club 33, if you're a Disney fan,
let's hope
that is just, if you're a Disney fan, that's a once in a lifetime kind of an experience. It's not about the food. It's about the history and the tradition. When you're in there, this is Walt. He never really got a chance to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't completely finished, but everything in there is about him. It was his vision and his dream. Wait a minute, I'm getting a call from my agent. Catch that real quick. No. Oh, never mind. I just got fired.
Oh, right, no. It was the big man.
Yeah. But So, and Club 33 is built inside of the park, and so in Disneyland, so that's pretty cool. But yep, great dining options.
I'm just curious. Do you remember
foods?
I'm sorry. Is the Club 33 menu, is it like very retro to the time, or is it like current type of dishes?
No, the menu there is well, most people haven't done this either, but it's along the lines of Victoria and Albert's.
Okay.
It's very, very eclectic. Smaller tapas, multiple dishes, very, very high end.
Okay.
Not retro.
Do you need to dress up to go in there like Victoria and Albert's, or is it more like park attire? Oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah. I think you're required to wear a jacket, but you don't have to wear a tie.
Gotcha.
I believe if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I was there, but it seemed like that was it. Or no, I think it did finally relax but it had to be slacks and it had to be a polo, button shirt, collared shirt.
Okay.
You could start to wearing it that way, but most people going in there are pretty well dressed up or looking. You can't go in there in a bathing suit or anything. They'll never let you in there with
Gotcha.
that. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's fun when you're outside because to get into Club 33, it's on one of the pathways, and anybody that figures it out where it is, they're always watching it like, oh,
they're going in.
You walk up and you have to ring a doorbell, and Jeeves answers and says, "May I help you?"
The password is.
Yeah, so then they open the special gate to let you in.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Pretty cool.
Now, I realize we're in COVID right now, but is the dining reservation system the same in Disneyland? Is it not quite as involved and as far out?
And right now with Disneyland and with them, all of this is really changing almost by the hour. I actually, as I mentioned, I've got some friends that have actually just been in the park. The day it opened, they were there and going back again this week for some kind of a dining thing that's going on. But there's limited restaurants open like they did when Disney World opened. Okay. And a lot of the quick service you're able to do, I believe you're able to do some mobile ordering too, but not to the level that Disney World does. So, but yeah, there's social distancing and California and Florida are not kissing cousins. I thought my governor was rough, and I think California's governor wins it all.
Right.
They've got some of the best numbers in the country, and they're barely, letting them, get out of their little bubbles.
Right.
So it's very slow right now, but yeah. So some limited restaurants some restaurants aren't open yet. But,
okay.
But for the most part, probably I'd be guessing 50% to 75% of them are open.
Excellent. All right. Well, now that I'm hungry, we've talked about dining. What else do we want to compare for the first person? Well, going from Disney World
I already
to
mentioned about the one thing that's a huge advantage to Disneyland is just how close it all is. And with that in mind, it makes it a very different experience than Disney World. Let's be honest. If my body could handle it, if my legs could handle it, if my brain can handle it, a 10-day trip to Disney World's still not enough.
Right.
There's so much to do there. If you're going to do the water parks, if you're going to take a day off and just go do some of the adventures and, get a boat and do an excursion, there's so much to do there. And with 4 parks and some parks that there multiple days is easy to do. And once Epcot gets done, I think we're almost to the point now where all 4 parks could easily be a 2-day park.
Right.
Once they get it all done, you know what I mean? So you can spend a lot of time at Disney World. At Disneyland, it's not that way. There's only 2 parks. They're very compact. They have what's weird is that it's not going to be that way anymore, but it's kind of funny. They only have 2 parks, but they have close to the same number of rides as all 4 parks.
Oh, right. Yes.
Let's see. I say close. I don't have an accurate count, but a lot of the rides that you'd go, okay, well, that ride's in Magic Kingdom. It's here. That is Magic Kingdom. It's here. Okay, that's all here. But that ride, wait a minute, Star Tours is here. Star Tours is over in Hollywood Studios, and so you start spotting rides and going, wait a minute, that ride's here, but that's in a different park at Disney World. And so, but the weird part is there's smaller parks.
They're very concentrated then on a much smaller park area. That's awesome.
You think it's bad on Main Street at Disney World. Get there really? On a holiday at Disneyland. It's just like, yeah, baby. So, but it's all very compact and it's so convenient. So to me, unless you're really just going to ride the same rides over and try things and do other things, usually a 3-day stay at Disneyland is more than enough.
Really? Okay.
You'll do everything in 3 days. In fact, with their packages, they don't sell large packages like they do at Disney World. It's more limited.
I'm going to make a statement here. You ready for this one?
What's that?
One of the perks of Disneyland is its blessing of size, being smaller.
It is.
How about
Those
that?
Want to knock it? Listen, whatever. There are reasons why it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
But that's something that really makes it an advantage, but with that in mind, it doesn't mean you can't take a week's vacation there, because the other advantage you have in Disneyland compared to Disney World is the close proximity to a lot of off-site things you can do, and Disney Travel Company, they offer multiple excursions. They're hard to find, but a good travel agent will be able to help you find them. But they're there, or you could just rent a car. There's a car rental place, or there was. I don't know if it closed down with COVID, but it was inside of downtown Disney. And but you're 35 minutes to the beach.
Nice.
With traffic.
Yeah.
And that's traffic. You're going down. You can get on Harbor Boulevard, which is right outside the main entrance, and drive it all the way until you hit the beach. Multiple
Fantastic.
beaches. You can go to Medieval Times. You can go to Knott's Berry Farm. You can go to all kinds of things that are very, very close and easy to get to. Where when you're in Disney World, it takes you a while to get off site, and then once you get off site to find anything besides summer homes and
Right.
properties,
Yes.
it's kind of hard to find. You got a ways to go to get anything. So you can Uber to stuff like crazy at Disneyland. Off site. Ubering at Disney World, it gets a little expensive. Yeah, I'd like to go up to Universal Studios. Okay, that's about a 45-minute drive. That's
Right.
going to be, it's a little bit trickier, but so that doesn't make it nicer. And so it's fun to take a day off. And then I have this. Lots of times for my clients, I'd book them on this excursion where it's a kind of a woody van, like a surfer van kind of a thing. And they would come and pick you up at your hotel, and then those vans would travel all day long to 3 major beaches along the coast there, and it's a hop on hop off van. So you get off at the first beach and you could stay there for 30 minutes. Go, let's try the other one. You go back to the spot, get on the van. It'll take you to the next beach, and all day long you can spend whatever amount of time at each of the beach and eat and hang out. You can get in a great beach experience in half of a day. Is all the excursion takes.
Yeah, there's always things to do outside the Disney theme parks, but a lot of people just figure they're going to spend their whole vacation in whether it's the big Walt Disney World bubble or the smaller Disneyland bubble.
Yep. And that's the thing. So, but yeah, that's the one thing about it is the convenience, and that it definitely is a little bit shorter. There's one other thing to be aware of. Right now, unfortunately, it's not a reality for either park. So we'll see where we end up. But you've probably, if you've listened at all to any of Resort Loop's podcasts or any podcast, you're aware there's no they don't have the Magic Band Fast Pass Plus system at Disneyland. Basically, the way they talk about it, it's not doable. And I don't know I've heard their explanation and then my brain forgot it already, but they say it's not really doable. So, but they still do the paper Fast Passes where you go up to a machine inside the park, you put in your park ticket, and the sign tells you when it's going to generate your tickets, which is fine. There's a lot of us fans out there that almost wish Disney World would go back to them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're not a better way. But Disneyland offers something that is phenomenal called the Max Pass. Now, the Max Pass was one of the coolest things to come along in a while, and a lot of pundits think that maybe something similar to that's what we're going to see at Disney World.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, where you feel about that, but it's a pay-to-play Fast Pass system. So what happens with a Max Pass is you pay, I don't know, I think it seemed like it was around $15 day per person.
Close to that. I remember it started out as 10, and I think it did go up a little bit.
Yeah, it went up to 15 or so. $15 a day per person. Now, the way it works, you don't book fast passes 60 days in advance. In fact, you literally can't book a fast pass till the max pass does not activate until you get inside the park for the day. As soon as you go inside the park, though, max pass goes live on your phone. And now you can just go in there and pick out the ride. What do you want to go to? See what the upcoming times are. Select it. Boom. It's now reserved you and your whoever has a max pass on your family, and you're set to go. And now, let's say it's going to be it's starting right now. You head straight over there. And what I would do is I go over to I was going to say the Tower of Terror, but it's different now. It's way better, by the way. The Guardians of the Galaxy ride. That is the coolest remake of Tower of Terror. But I walked inside there, scanned my band, got inside the Fast Pass line. While I'm in line before I get on the ride, I open up Max Pass because it's cleared now. I've already booked my next Fast Pass. So I ride the ride and I get off, and if it's available, I go straight over to the next ride and I do it again. And I'm literally booking them as fast as I get rid of as soon as I get on. I believe you can only do one at a time. But after an hour, then you can add a second one. If there's one you get that's booked way out, you can actually book a second one. So if there's that one ride, you got a ride, you don't want to wait because Radiator Springs is going to not even be available.
Right.
So you went ahead and booked it for later in the evening, but it doesn't tie up your system because after a certain amount of time, you then can start do other fast passes while that one sits and waits. But honestly, I've done Max Pass half dozen times now, and not one single time have I ever had to do a Fast Pass far out.
Awesome. So well worth it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And where Radiator Springs racers used to, I don't know how it happens. I don't know if they set aside Fast Passes just for Max Pass. But, Radiator Springs was that ride that would run out of Fast Passes within the first hour. People would get in the park early to go stand in the Fast Pass line for an hour just so they could try to ride it that day. And if they didn't get one, then they didn't get to ride it all day.
Right.
Or you got in the standby line that was a 2.5 hour wait. So I was getting Fast Passes 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon for all of them. It was like I never had one up until about 2 o'clock. I never had a ride that there wasn't availability. It's like they weren't running out until the afternoon, and then they'd start running out. But so that Max Pass is nice. And another cool thing with Max Pass is it gives you, also includes a photo pass with it.
Oh, that's right. That is a great tip or great addition on there.
So here's a little tip. The cool thing, you got Disneyland, Disneyland, California Adventure stacked together. You've got specific rides that are always long waits that you want to use Fast Passes for. You can buy the Max Pass for one day. And on that day, you park hop, and you just hit the big boys. And you can make a Max Pass inside California Adventures for a ride in Disneyland. Once you've activated, you can make them for either park. So while I'm finishing up in California Adventure, I just book Space Mountain over in Disneyland, and when I get done, I go straight over. And you can bust out all the main rides with that Max Pass that first day. Then the second and third days, you just buy one Max Pass. Not for everybody, but that activates the photo pass for everybody.
Oh, okay.
Or it activates yours, which means if you're taking family pictures, so you've just got your photo pass done for the whole trip, or $15 a day.
So, right. What a great tip. Look at you, Brad.
Look at that.
Look at that. Well, Brad, thank you very much.
Hey, this has been a while. I love talking about Disneyland. I'm very excited. Maybe we'll talk again. There's a possibility that I'm going to be able to go maybe in July and get to Disneyland. And so I'm working hard on getting there. Right now, we should tell everybody right now, with Disneyland, it's all about dreaming about it unless you live in California.
Right. California residents only.
Right now, you have to be a California resident to get in the park.
Right.
Although I've heard they have not been real good at checking people when they're letting them in the park, but that could change. So
absolutely. But we're Walt Disney World fans also, so we're used to planning a year out anyway. So maybe when we start planning a Disneyland trip.
Well, hey, I'm glad you said that, because that's another thing I should mention about Disneyland. It's the stress of planning, 6 months out for your Fast Pass Plus, 6 months out for your dining.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't available. Dining with Disneyland is basically across the board 60 days out.
Okay.
And outside of certain times of the year and 1 or 2 restaurants, you don't even have to worry about getting on the phone in 60 days out. Most of them are up to 30 days. You can pretty much get anything you want year round. So
that sounds great.
It's much easier. Yeah, a lot of Disneyland people are Disneyland locals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They go there, they don't dine. They go there, they enjoy, they go home. So at least that's what our theory is. Yeah.
Well, awesome, Brad. I need to wrap this up so people can turn off the show and then start planning a trip and giving you and me a call.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Brad, where can somebody find you?
So I am Papa Mouse 1 on Twitter and on now on Instagram. I just activated my Instagram account. So because I'm making a trip out to Universal there in Orlando next week, actually. And so I'm supposed to be doing a bunch of hashtagging out there. So I had to grow up and become an Instagram guy. But I'm on Papa Mouse 1 there. You can reach me at papamouse101@hotmail.com if you want to ask more involved questions. And of course, anything to do with Resort Loop, I'm usually hanging out somewhere. So
I appreciate that.
Catch me there.
Awesome. I'm Tim. Facebook, Instagram also. Also, if you're thinking of moving to Disney, don't forget about our friend over at DisneyAtYourDoorstep.com, Victor. He'll help you out. Also, Resort Loop Travel. If you want to go to any Disney destination, I'd be glad to help you with that. And also, so everybody, thanks for listening. You've been listening to the Gateway to the Magic. Can you get me out of here, Brad?
See you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
You betcha.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com.